So there are many programming languages out there. Choosing the right one for your child to learn could be a confusing process, and I want to talk about that a little bit. There are different rankings out there to rank how popular different languages are using different methods, but for most of them, they do agree that C, C++, Java, JavaScript, and Python are the most popular ones. Let's go through each one of them. C and C++ are technically two different languages, but they are very similar and are often used together. Among the popular languages, they are the oldest and also the fastest. The advanced features that make them fast are also what makes them a bit hard to use at times correctly. They're usually used in places where require the highest level of performance. Java is a newer language, but it looks a little bit old because its designers wanted it to look more like C and C++. It's a bit easier to code in, but it's also a slower language compared to C and C++, often by a factor of 2 or more. Despite that, it's actually still a pretty fast language compared to the rest of the popular languages. It's a language that's also widely taught in high schools in the US, and the AP Computer Science A course uses Java as its programming language. Where it's being used is usually in places where security and ease of coding is more important than raw performance. JavaScript sounds like Java, and it even looks a little bit like it at times, but it's actually a very different programming language. Any computer with a web browser can run JavaScript code without installing anything, and that includes smartphones, Chromebooks, and tablets. Because of that, it's mostly used in web programming to reach the widest possible audience. Python is a somewhat new language, and it looks new because it doesn't try to look like an older language. Python code is the easiest to write. The code reads almost just like English by design. Python is not a fast language, but it can be fast by calling code that's written in C and C++. It's usually used in places where the speed of development is more important than the speed of the language itself. It's also got some really good libraries in machine learning and data analysis. So if your kid is learning programming, what language should they learn? In some schools, they would start you off in one language and then switch over to maybe a different one when they are a bit more advanced. In other schools, they would just stick with one language throughout. The truth is, it doesn't actually matter which language they start out in. Notice the code that I showed you earlier in the 4 different languages and how similar they are. They all do the exact same thing. The most important part when you're learning programming is not the language itself, but the ability to express the logic. If you're able to do that, learning a different language is actually not that difficult. When you're picking a programming course for your child to learn, there are many things to consider, like how good the instructors are, how good the curricula are, the pricing, the schedule, your kid's interests, and all that. But the language itself that they learn in, that should not be a big factor. Just have them learn one well, and they should be good to go.